Hello, 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 brothers and sisters. Thanks for jumping on the Hiking Druid channel. I'm Andrew, Hiking Druid, and come on in. The water is fine. It is the water of truth, and the truth is setting us free. And for folks that are aware, and what a great time it is to be aware, alert, patient, loving, strong, bold, and wise enough to do battle with the enemy, with the liars, it's a great time to be alive. And there is so much going on. I mean, my head is spinning, uh, trying to keep up with everything, between Central Europe, uh, Asia, and the Middle East, all the stuff that's going on there, all the stuff that's going on with the banksters, the information that's just flowing. If you know where to look, then your knowing is growing. And one place that I just want to mention quick here is do you folks know about Deep State Mapping Project.com? Deep State Mapping Project.com. They do all these maps. Some of them are pretty famous as far as I'm sure you'll recognize. They connect. This is the black and white version. They have free downloads on part of the site that just shows that just the core stuff so that you can print it right off your home printers. And this is about the Pentagon and the connection of the 17th letter. There's one that's great about pharmacy. The chemistry, the pharmaceutical companies versus the holistic medicine. And I talk about that quite a bit as I've studied herbs and harvest a lot of them in the wild and have ever since I was a teenager, actually. I was thinking about it the other day. I used to harvest sassafras root and spathium or skunk cabbage. You actually eat it. You can eat it, or you can make tea with the sassafras root. And when I lived in Pennsylvania, both of those things grew, well, they grew wild all around us where we lived. We lived in the mountains, in the woods. It's pretty cool. Although as a young Mainer, I wasn't too excited to be going to Pennsylvania, but there were some neat things to learn, and the history of the Poconos where we ended up living. It was still country, and it was still climbing trees and exploring the woods. Pretty good. Anyway, the Deep State Mapping Project, like I said, you can buy. They have like wall side sized posters. They have full color ones, but my old clunky printer is out of color ink. So I printed up. They have a black and white version anyway that's a lot easier for most home printers to print up. There's one, about certain, these. I'm not going to say the word, but some of these you can print up in order to give to people who have questions about these things. So go and check that out. It's great. This one is the Healing Web. That's pretty cool. The Healing Web. These were all for free. Then they do have bigger poster sizes that you can order. and all kinds of other merch and stuff. The Octagon group, this is one I've heard so much about, but I've never dug into. So this is probably my next digging. I mean, I know about some of the connections, but I have not really gone into the Octagon group. Very interesting. So if you think nothing's happening, then you have your blinders on still. And I would encourage you to step outside, throw those little blinders off like horses wear so they can't see anything except for straight ahead, because we need to be fully aware, you know. And once you practice it, you can actually be pretty aware of full circle, right? Um, so I hope everybody is doing well. Please check out the link right below this video. There's a link for a free guide that teaches about a couple of herbs that I use just about every day. It is good to um, switch off sometimes with certain herbs, or just for the sake of um, variety. Let's put it that way. And so check that link out. You get a free guide. Folks have been telling me it's been helping them out. I actually get emails from people that say just that. So that's kind of fun, and that's why I wrote it. That's what I was hoping to share some of my knowledge. I have been studying herbs for 40 years, and I have been harvesting them for about that long too. I am a health coach, certified health coach, and I've been helping folks to meet their weight goals and their energy and improve their energy and help them with just overall wellness and nutrition. And that's an exciting thing that is very rewarding, being able to help folks. And I also like to encourage people. And I do have a newsletter, which when you sign up to get that free, it comes as like a PDF. So it's a free guide that will come right into your emails. And so also you can get my newsletter where I go into more of that information. I'm also a writer and a poet. And so I've been knowing that I loved writing since 4th grade and an avid reader. So I've really developed the written word and creativity, and so I share some of that stuff in the newsletter as well. But it's also a great way for us to keep in touch. We have to keep reaching out to, I hear some people call it the tribe, to people that you see eye to eye, that people that you have things in common with. And that was the greatest thing about the last 3 years, I think, was, I mean, besides all that amazing information that is being released, and the truth that is setting us free, is to be able to meet people. I know people now from Australia, from England, from Germany, Canada, all over the United States that I didn't know before, Brazil, Mexico, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, India. These are great people, and they're patriots. Loving freedom isn't just something we in the United States do. However, a lot of people around the world do look, of course, everybody loves their own country, but the United States of America has been a beacon, a light, if you will, in the night, that is a glimmer of hope for people that even live in lands that aren't free, or aren't as free as our nation is meant to be, was created to be. So we're actually fixing some of that as well. And that's why, if you can like and subscribe to this channel, it will help this information to get out there better. Because the more that people give thumbs up or likes and subscribes, the better it does in logarithms of their computers that allow more eyes, more folks to see the videos. So if you would, I would humbly ask for you to do that and help out. And also, if you share the videos, that helps too. Also, if you comment below with any ideas, that's a great help. And just thank you very much for watching this. And don't forget that in the description box of most of the platforms that I post these to, which is BitChute, Rumble, YouTube, UgeTube, which is UGE Tube, Telegram, and you're more than welcome to follow my Hiking Druid Explorers channel on Telegram. I share a lot of information that I glean from other channels, and I share some of my own thoughts on the Hiking Druid Explorers. First word, Hiking Druid. Second word, Explorers. Explores. So go ahead, join out. It's just pretty new. But yeah, subscribe to that if you're on Telegram, and I will link you up with a lot of information. And I am on Truth Social as well. So there's all kinds of different platforms, right? So we need to get the word out there. Thanks for checking that information out. And I would just like to say, as along with my constant rhythm that I set up about being kind, being patient, helping one another, seeking the truth, by developing our discernment, being able to tell the difference between right and wrong, more importantly, good and evil, right? And then being able to see just about the second somebody's telling lies to you. That comes through practicing discernment and developing your relationship with Papa through Jesus and Holy Spirit. These are really trying times. I've noticed a lot of truthers, light warriors, patriots seem to be a little bit pooped out these days. It's completely understandable and normal. We've worked hard to try to get folks to become more aware and just to question everything and just to start seeking some of the real answers. Oh, wow. Squirrels chasing each other on the hill across the street. Just raced right up a tree. It's fun. Our snow is just about all gone. We had a couple days of rain, and it's melted even most of the snow in the woods. So the next sunny day we get, I'm probably taking a deeper walk into the deeper wilderness, and I'll make sure I bring you guys with me. So keep an eye open for that. Next couple days, I'm heading back into some deep woods explorers. So come on along with Hiking Druid. It'll be fun. And I'll point out some of the ways that I observe the natural rhythms in the forest and how I learn to be at that original pace that a well-adjusted sovereign member of mankind was created to exist in. The pace I call the God flow. Now remember, we're created by the creator of all things. We are his children, and we have God sparks inside us. Each one of us has that spark, that connection with God. And you just practice listening and, asking questions. Invite Holy Spirit in. You have not if you ask not. So ask. Ask Holy Spirit in. The Holy Spirit of God. Jesus released that on the cross for us. A helper to show us the way, to guide us, to encourage us, and sometimes to reprimand us. But I've found Holy Spirit to be generally firm but funny, often funny in the way that he instructs. So practice that. Listen to that still, quiet voice. 2 ears, 1 mouth, right? So listen 2 times more than you speak. The way I can listen through these videos is if you make a comment. But also, I wanted to say, once you're signed up for the newsletter and you get that free guide, and we can stay in touch. You can send me an email, and we can keep in touch that way. It's important. It's important. It's not as easy as it used to be to travel, although it's gotten pretty easy again. But this is still one of the quickest ways to reach out to someone halfway around the world. So why not take advantage of it? And I think we were actually created as members of mankind, meaning we do tend to need that camaraderie, that, connection with one another. So as we're being kind and patient, also, here's some thoughts that I've noticed a lot, and it's part of the trick. It's part of that divide and conquer trick from the little liar and his minions. We need to be very wary of describing others in a way which implies they are less than what the creator of all things, our Papa, says we are. Terms like NPC, this is getting kicked around a lot. You're actually calling your brothers and sisters who aren't as aware of you as you are NPCs. You need to be careful of that. Pure blood, you're setting yourself up to look down your nose at other people. Sheeple, zombies, vaxxers, it's not from God. These things are not from God. If they're not from God, we're making them up, or we're being influenced by God, by God's enemy. That's the wrong side of the fence, folks. They are used by the little liar to set up this false dichotomy and even enmity to subdivide and weaken us, turn us against each other. We can't allow that. So again, with discernment, as you're developing it, you're going to realize more and more. And Holy Spirit, as your guide, won't let you get away with it. And I've done it. That's why I noticed it. I was doing that about a year ago, a lot. And I still, and still sometimes chuckle if I see someone wearing a mask driving in a car. These days, I mean, come on. It used to make me mad. Then I learned to laugh at it. Now I'm realizing they're still a brother or sister. You need to be able to look through their eyes. There's so much fear in their hearts for them to still be acting that way now with all the knowledge, with all the facts, but it's confused on purpose. If they're still watching the television, and a lot of older folks are really habituated to watching that. It's like it's a habit. That's why I use that word. So don't let them set up that bipolar, even like the political system, right? One or the other. Well, if you're on the other side, then you must be stupid. And both sides do this. And that's how we've been brainwashed. It's not true. most of us on either side have a lot more in common than we have opposite. Now, some in the leadership definitely are way off the rails, I would say. You know, what they think are socialists are actually communists on that left side. But as that tribal saying goes, it's the left wing and the right wing of the same bird. Or you can have two opposite sides, but it's the same coin. Okay, you can think of it that way, maybe. God says all his kids are beautiful and wondrously made. So we better be careful not to be saying some are less than what he says we are. Don't be running around saying someone's less than when God says that same person is a victor, not a victim. You just need to plant a seed, be loving, say, come and talk to me whenever you start seeing that the news is a bit tainted. I know, you know, it's a lot more than a bit tainted. Yes, but I'm saying what you're going to say to someone who doesn't even realize it yet. And I'll be here and help you. But don't hit them with everything you know all at once. Like, don't hit them with every information off the deep state mapping. What did I say it was called? Deep State Mapping Society? No, that's not right. Project. There we go. DeepStateMappingProject.com. All right? Yeah, they're good. Now, for any doing purposeful harm, repeated evil to our precious little ones, he says, okay, he says it would be better if they had never been born. And Jesus also said in a different area, if you would do harm to these little ones. And the kids were, he told the people, let the kids come up to him and talk to him and ask him their questions. And he said, if anyone should harm one of these precious little ones, it would be better if he tied a millstone. Millstones are gigantic, sometimes multi-ton stones used to grind corn or wheat or barley or whatever the local grains might have been. Would be better if that person who did any harm to the little ones tied one of those millstones around their necks and threw themselves into the sea. Okay? So there's a big difference between someone who hasn't become very aware yet, or even someone who's annoyingly woke and think that they know everything when all they are doing is regurgitating the Marxist programming that they see in all their chat shows, TV shows, sitcoms, news, fear porn shows. And so there's a big difference between like someone like that that's just ignorant because they don't know any better, and someone who's done intentional harm to our precious little children. Totally different. Harm children, you need to receive swift and final justice. Find it hard to believe the truth. You just need the Great Awakening. That's not for you to do. We all can plant a seed. But just like coming to Jesus, you can plant seeds for that. But each sovereign member of mankind needs to decide it. So in the end, it's between God and each of us. Okay? So I know what God's telling me to do, and I do it. Some days I do it a lot better than other days. Okay? I'm human. I get discouraged. I usually just go for another walk, and then I feel great again. But because I'm praying for others while I'm walking, and nothing helps us to forget our own pity party than praying for other people to be helped and healed and washed clean and saved and protected from demons and protected by warrior angels. And you start going into those realms of existence and caring for others, then you're not going to worry about the little stuff. Folks, I just posted this on Facebook. Don't sweat the small stuff. And it's almost all small stuff. The enemy likes to make mountains out of molehills, and they even set more molehill mountains in front of us by the minute these days. So that's why you need that discernment to realize a lot of this is fakery, a lot of this is trickery, and most of it, almost all of it is lying. Even the good guys are doing that because they need to break through to the people that have been mesmerized by the tell-lie vision. Okay? So there's also a big difference between pointing out the truth and mocking others and looking down your nose at others. Remember, we're all equal members of mankind in God's eyes. We're all his children. And everyone is our brothers and sisters. Although, like I said, do harm to children, I think basically you're revoking your member of mankind card. Now, that doesn't mean we use that as a rationale to do evil ourselves. No. But we stop them from harming our precious little ones. Don't judge. But we can send them to he who judges. And that's called justice. We need to be able to protect our families. We need to be able to encourage our families positively, reinforce the truth, but also be patient and forgiving. Not everybody sees things the same way. It's tough. I mean, I walk, even though I talk about a lot of spiritual warfare, I also have my feet firmly on the ground. I'm from a long line of, I don't know if this is spiritually, bloodlines, what? From the line of Merdins. That's part of why hiking druid is my nickname, druid. I've always, I don't know if it's between my Celtic Irish ancestors, my Native American or tribal Blackfoot ancestors. Maybe it's a little combo of both. But one thing's for sure, from that Celtic sort of Brit, Irish combo, there's a connection and there's a bloodline with the Merdin. And the Merdin was a title for the high priests. Now, I love Jesus. I'm not a druid. But I've studied the druids, and I've studied their ways because I'm called to it. It's part of my ancestry. And the Murdin was the title given to the highest leader of the priestly caste of the Celts, of the Druids. Some say the Druids are more ancient than the Celts. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I've studied it. I don't practice it. Most of the stuff that's done now is not so true to what the ancients practiced anyway. Okay, truth be known. Although, everyone's entitled to their opinions, you want to be careful not to be worshiping trees as spirits, because demons will step in and pretend to be some of those things you're trying to contact, just like the alien thing. A lot of people are very mystified by the whole alien thing. It doesn't, or even worried about it, and it doesn't bother me at all. I know that 99.9% of people who think they're talking to aliens through what's that word? They're channeling, right? These aliens or alien beings or alien groups. Those are demons, okay? So you need to be careful about that kind of information because it's very tricky. That's what they do. That's what they do. It can be very fearful because that's the other thing they do. Tricky and fear. Tricky and fear. Their God, little g God, is the Lord of lies, which also makes him the Lord of tricks. Okay? So don't fall for it. That's why we all need discernment. I'm talking to myself. Need to be aware, careful, and yet loving. Powerful in what God says you are. So don't run him off by worshiping false idols. Because you make choices, right? We all have free will. That's what being sovereign means. So every time you decide to worship a singer, your dog, a tree, the sun, more than God, then you're saying, I don't need the creator of all things. I'll just worship the beautiful things he's created. And that is such a trick that the trickster, the little liar, loves it. Then we're saying, okay, well, God honors. That's called justice. He's just. He's the very creator of just. And he says, okay, I will remove myself because you have turned away. Now, he will always love you, and he will always be ready the second you want. But I would say, don't waste your time. I mean, but everybody's at different levels. I looked into all religions, all kinds of religions, and and the religions like Buddha that teach you that there is no God. So how people say Buddha and Jesus are the same? No, they're opposites. They're opposites. Sorry, you are so off. But the Eastern religion, we went gaga for the last 40, 50 years, 60 years. We went east, and I've done some videos about this. Gaga over Eastern religions. What was amazing at the same time, China, India, Indonesia, Malaysia, they all went gaga for Coca-Colas and jeans. They wanted America, Western. They wanted America. What's the fastest growing religion in China? It's Christianity. What was the fastest growing religion in California? Coastal California, and probably New York City for the last 40, 50 years. Buddhism, Sikh, All these Eastern multi-god religions, or no-god religions. Sorry. Uh, yeah. One of the favorite things that the little liar can do is to get you to turn 100% inward and ignore God. Because God, in order to invite him in, obviously has to live without. He lives outside. Then you invite Holy Spirit in. Then he's out and in. And that's balancing. But if you spend all 100% of your time, nobody can really do that, right? Honestly. But if you spend all your free time just turning inside, good. It's good to do once in a while, but not all the time, because then you're ignoring your brother and your sister and the problems that we are tasked to be part of the solution and teach the little ones about Jesus and about God's love. Holy Spirit is really loving. Holy Spirit is like the feminine balance to Papa's masculine balance. And I've even had some really funny talks. Of course they don't have sexual genitalia. Give me a break. Yeah, Jesus would have. On the earth plane, he would have, because he was born into a human body. But he sure wasn't obsessed by that. But he was aware of it. Of course he was aware. Can't help but be aware of it. It would be unnatural to not be. But you shouldn't be obsessed with it. Like a lot of television and commercials are so way off. They're so, but by design, Marxism wants to destroy morality. That's their main thing. And the earlier they can get to our precious little ones, the better in their eyes. And that's why they're doing these crazy library routines with clowns and reading disgusting books and trying to sneak these disgusting books, and into the libraries and stuff. And we're stopping it. We're stopping it. God's had enough of it. God's done. And the big flip is why the energy is changing so fast. And that's why, sometimes you're high, sometimes you're low. And yes, you do have to do the work inside. Yes. And Jesus even taught about that. Sometimes after he'd spent days in a row healing thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people and teaching and feeding and feeding, he'd go off into the wilderness to pray. Well, prayer is meditation. Can be a sort of meditation, or maybe meditation is a sort of prayer. I don't know. You figure it out. I don't know. I don't know so much, but I am very interested in finding out about truth. So I'm getting all kinds of information. Sometimes because we are connecting with people all over the world, we're finding, like, I have a little bit of information. I have some deep knowledge as well. And then they have information and they have deep knowledge and they have deep knowledge. They have some more information, and all like the many leaves on an oak tree. They're all helping the tree to gather energy, or like pieces of a puzzle. It's not really a puzzle. It's not a puzzle until all the pieces are linked together. And yet, one piece out can still be beautiful and it's still just as equal to all the other pieces, and puzzle is done. Is the human puzzle ever done? Not on the Earth plane. No, not here. But there is so much to learn about interacting with others, with Papa, Holy Spirit, with truth, with lies, with darkness, with light, with love, with anger, hatred, kindness, patience. Patience is like the connector of all of it. Because if you can be patient, even when someone is mocking you or questioning you in a way that might seem sarcastic, but they're just maybe confused or truly trying to find out what you meant by what you told them. Discernment again, you need to know the difference, but being patient with all of these situations is what will help you. You know, like I say, plant the seed. Well, now you're watering. You could be watering a seed someone else planted years ago. So there's many times when things I've been saying for years, someone will come back and tell me, oh, they heard this great information, and they'll say, and I was so glad that I found this person saying this on the video. And I just, you don't have to, it's not a pissing contest anyway. So it is, just be happy that their seed got watered. You might think, gee, I told you about that 10 years ago, but don't say it. Don't say it. Just say, yes, I think that's amazing. And then talk to them about what you might have told them 10 years ago, but don't say, I told you so. Say, oh, that's so interesting, and this is what I've learned about it, and what did he say about it? And because even when it's the same subject and it sounds similar, you can still get more little tidbits for a subject that you have studied for years and years. I mean, like I said, we never know everything until maybe when we rejoin the Father in heaven. Even then, we don't know everything because only God knows everything. But I bet we do learn a lot more then. So I think that just about does it. And I hope that you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and let me know what you thought about it, this video. And go and check out that site I mentioned. And I just thought it was nice that they gave away some of that stuff that they obviously spent a lot of time and creativity in order to make some of these. They're just beautiful. Some of them are just beautiful. How they, even if it's a tough subject sometimes when you're digging into this stuff, they present it in a beautiful manner. Very creative, very talented. I can't think of the guy's name. He is on some, once in a while, Jason Q really likes him, so he's been on a couple of different interviews alongside him, Jason Q. Justin? No, I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Go check it out, and I think you'll find it very rewarding. Thank you for watching this, and I hope you found this rewarding too. And like I said, I am going to have a take a walk in the woods video mighty soon. Until then, remember, you're the apple of Papa's eye, the creator of the entire universe, and everything beyond that says you are Beautiful, wondrously made. He loves you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you. And I do too. Love you. Go do good deeds and give someone a big hug. And I'll see you soon. Bye.